In my meditation on Darling in the Franxx video essay, I kinda glossed over the first chunk of episodes, which set me off on the wrong foot on analyzing the series. To rectify that, I'd like to take a look at the main character of the show, Hiro.
Boss, you killed a child.
To start off, let's talk about Mecha. In the show's Neon Genesis Evangelion and Tangatopa Gurren Lagann, there are similar elements within the first episode. An anxious young boy is called to action to fight against an immediate threat where he encounters a girl that plays a part in encouraging the protagonist to act. The action of choosing to pilot the mech and fight against the threat ends up associated with personal growth, even if it ends up negative or positive by the end of the series. Specifically, I brought up both of these shows because I feel like there's a case to be made that Darling in the Franxx is playing off of those due to them being two Gainax mecha shows. With Franxx being made in part by former Gainax staff, I believe part of the expectations of Franxx were almost built off these shows in a way. I'd also say that as a disclaimer, I'm not that into mecha as a genre, so some of the stuff I mentioned could be prevalent in other shows that I don't know. Like, yes, I know that a prevalent idea with mecha is that war is bad. Now, I want to look at the first episode of Darling in the Franxx. Hiro is a social outcast due to his inability to pilot, even if he wants to, relating his struggle to a bird being unable to fly. Soon after, he encounters 02 naked bathing. After a conversation with her, he is about to leave his friends when he is stopped by a Clockwork attack. The girl he encountered earlier couldn't kill the thing on her own and is left in a frail state. So Hiro steps up and reactivates the Franxx, killing the Clockwork flawlessly. Fits a lot of the beats of those two shows. 02 could even be a mix of the sex and death of Yoko Littner and Rei Ayanami. She is both a hot babe and the frail damsel that would motivate Hiro to action. But that's where a lot of the parallels stop. The piloting program of Franxx isn't one of real necessity. It's a military death machine that will mulch child soldiers to achieve its ends. As seen from episode 2 and 3, his position in the system is a fluke. He could be replaced at any point, so he's got to be willing to take on whatever it takes to still fit in, even if he has seen the consequences multiple times. So in a bit of character growth to stand up for himself, in episode 4 he confesses his feelings to 02, which convinces her to pick him up and save his friends. And though it's a fluke, he is skilled at piloting, but he's still living within the oppressive system he's been born into. He has a larger cage, but he's still in a cage, and it will only be so long before he's allowed to drop dead. And that time would seem to be soon, as in episode 5 he's ill and likely only has one more stint of piloting before his body gives out. No one around him can convince him or 02 otherwise because this is all they've got set for them in life. Hiro comes from an upbringing where all that mattered, or at least all he could remember, was his capability to pilot a Franxx and fight and die for this holy war machine. If that was all you had as your life's purpose and you suddenly couldn't do it, it wouldn't matter whether you lived or died to achieve it. That was just what you were supposed to do.
I'm all too aware that a flightless bird has nowhere to go.
And that's something important to note in contrasting it to these two other shows. Neither of these protagonists grew up in a culture around war in the same way. Their call to action and eventual choices were out of desperation and necessity. In almost every way, the war on the Klaxosaurs is entirely exploitative and unnecessary. While they do threaten life, Ape doesn't really value that life either and can just keep producing more pilots and mechs to deal with this annoyance in their plan. From that, Hiro is rushing to die in war with no meaning because he truly believed he had nothing else. And he almost does.
I died.
On his deathbed in the middle of battle, he talks with a manifestation of Naomi, questioning if he's really gonna lay down and die, acting like he's achieved his life purpose.
I didn't give up. This is just as far as I could go. I piloted a Franxx to the very end. I got to be of use to everyone. I have no regrets.
Liar. He chooses not to after seeing 02 also struggling to fight. due to an act of kindness and rebellion long ago that he'd forgotten, he is able to reverse the poisoning he is experiencing and save Hiro too and the both of them. It is from this small seed of caring for another person that Hiro was able to live and eventually liberates himself from death.
It doesn't matter how long. If we have souls, then I swear I'll meet you again, back where we started.
Just wanted to put together a short video since I haven't done that in a bit. I do want to eventually take another look at Darling the Franxx as a whole, but I'd want to have a deeper understanding of it and surrounding materials and go at it with a more focused perspective than before.